Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in for our pre-match build-up, our third game of pre-season, joined by quite a lot of guests. I'll introduce them in a little second. All their social links please do head over and support all the lads' channels. The link is in the description, so it takes 2 seconds. Drop a subscribe as well. Really do appreciate the lads coming on tonight, especially in these mad conditions in the UK. Hopefully you're all looking after one another anyway. And everyone's got like their 15, 20 pound fans from Asda, and they're just absolutely doing nothing. So blowing hot air anyway. But we'll introduce Ricky from the 1892 Reds podcast. Ricky, thank you very much for coming on, mate. How are you dealing with the heat? Are you or not?
Struggling a little bit, but it does help when you've got no air, so you don't get all underneath that either. And I ain't got to worry about that. But yeah, no, I'm absolutely dying. It's too much.
As I said to the lads before we come on air, I won't keep them too long as well. But I appreciate you coming on, Ricky, from the 1892 Reds podcast. Link is in the description as well. And we got mate Nigel. I've done a lot of podcasts with Owen, who I'll introduce in a little second. But Nigel, thank you very much for coming on, mate. How have you been?
Not too bad. Not too bad. A little bit cooler over here in Ireland. But it's still very warm. I was working the 2 days, so it didn't really bother me. We have air conditioning in the shop, so I was fine.
Oh, it's not too bad. Yeah, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Appreciate it. Obviously, good mate Spider, LFC. Been a very busy boy, haven't you, mate? Thank you.
How's it going? Did you miss me?
Yeah, I missed you, lad. I'm pretty sure chat as well did miss you as well.
I've been sneaking in a few games with you on the side when any chance that I get, when I'm streaming myself. But yeah, thanks very much, Jack, for having me on again. Yeah, looking forward to this season coming up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, always a pleasure, mate. Always welcome. Every single one of you as well. And anyone would like to get involved in any future shows, I will get you in because it's going to be an amazing season yet again. And most importantly, and my good mate John. Hello, John. Hopefully you're there, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah, not too bad, mate. Thank you very much for coming in. Oh, what's it been like in Scotland in terms of the weather? Similar than in England?
Roasting.
Yeah.
But loving it.
Loving it. Yeah. I hope you got a top on under there, lad. Anyway, no camera. I won't blame you anyway. And my good friend of the channel as well, Owen from the Kop on. Thank you very much for coming on, mate.
Thanks for inviting me.
Always welcome, mate. And as I said, all the channel links to all the lads' content and obviously Spotify as well. Obviously, all the usual podcasting forms can be found in the description as well. So do head over, support the lads. Hopefully we'll be joined by Connor from the Kop Council. You might see him pop in. Connor, if you're still watching, you're welcome to just jump in, mate. I know you've been very busy. Well, firstly, lads, we'll get straight into it. Obviously, Ricky, RB Leipzig. So it'll be an interesting, a much different style of play, considering obviously the teams in which we have played. Obviously, in the Bundesliga, RB Leipzig predominantly play with a high line, and obviously Ibu Konate playing with 3 centre halves, and obviously the transition from the coach as well. But firstly, I'll ask you, mate, in relation to the pre-season, what have you learned the most during this pre-season spell? I know it's only 2 games, really, but what's really stood out for you in terms of, have you seen any patterns of play or players that what's impressed you the most, would you say?
The most thing I've seen about this pre-season is a lot of rival fans watch Liverpool pre-season games, because the amount of 40-second videos of Darwin Nunez missing a shot is unbelievable. So there's a lot of more Liverpool fans out there than they say they are. But in terms of the team, pre-season's all about the youngsters, really, I think, to see what they're about when they join up with the first team. Carvalho, Elliott, Jones, all having a good pre-season. It's a shame Ramsey couldn't be there because he picked up a little bit of an injury when he signed. But it's interesting. I don't know if, because now we're near the end of pre-season, I thought Klopp might have changed it up formation-wise a little bit earlier on, just to see what other formation we can play with the boys. But I think he'll just stick with his 4-3-3 now. I think he'll start to see majority of the first team over the last 2 friendlies to get a bit more rhythm in before that Man City game.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And Connor, you sound to come on, mate? Yeah, give us a thumbs up. Yeah, there we go. It's good. Double thumbs up. Connor from the Kop Council, thank you very much for coming in, mate. Appreciate it.
I'm always late. I'm always late, and I apologize.
Oh,
So I checked the time, and I was like, "Oh Christ, I'm on live now in 5 minutes," and I was rushing around, so I apologize.
Don't worry about it, mate. As I said, if you're busy, just jump off. I appreciate you taking the time out, mate. Connor's, as I said to you about the other lads' content as well. Connor's link to his channel and all his socials are in the description as well. So appreciate you coming on, Con, taking the time out. But Nigel, off the back of obviously what Ricky said there, mate, in terms of pre-season, we tend to not, obviously, it's only been like, 290-odd minute games. I think even in the Manchester United game, we made 30-odd changes, substitutions, really. But is anything stuck out in terms of that you've noticed in relation to any change? As Ricky alluded to there, we'll probably speak about that a bit later, but what's impressed you the most in terms of, obviously, either positional play or anything, or individual players?
Carvalho and Diaz. Starting off, what I want to see is improved fitness. I want to see, like, our system relies on our lads being fit, and I just want to see more running. Like, we played Man United and we hadn't. I think there was 3 or 4 players who were arriving on holiday, and they had been training for 2 weeks and went out trying to prove a point to Ten Hag, basically. But I want to see fitness. I see a little bit of it the last day, but we never got out of second gear against Palace. I went to work yesterday, and my manager's a United fan. He had the game on, and they butchered Palace. They absolutely tore them to shreds.
Yeah.
Palace were very poor. We barely got out of second gear against them, beat them 2-0. I want to see improved fitness. Could someone inform me where that game is tomorrow? It's in Germany, is it?
Germany, yeah, the RB Leipzig stadium, yeah.
It's still going to be warm, but it might not be quite as warm as like Australia or Singapore, or Malaysia or Singapore.
Yeah,
it might not be as dead heat as that. So hopefully not. Anyway, I just want to see fitness from our lads. Basically, is what I really want to see.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, mate. And obviously, off the back of what Nigel said there, Owen, I think I said it in the title of the video. Rhythm is probably Jürgen has spoke about in previous seasons. Like with any top elite level manager, that's the most important thing. And off the back of what Nigel said in terms of the fitness levels, a couple of them probably had a couple of bevies when they were off in the summer as well. I always hark back to when we won the league and we were playing games when half of our squad were absolutely bevied off their heads anyway. So how do Liverpool gain rhythm over the next couple of games and obviously off the back of this game that we've got tomorrow?
Well, I mean, Frank Zappa said if you want to, turn from a bad guitarist to a good guitarist, you need to play the guitar a lot. And then if you want to get from a good guitarist to a great guitarist, you need to play the guitar a lot more. And if you want to get from a great guitarist to a world-class guitarist, you got to play the guitar a bit more. So I don't know, a bit more footy. I've got to say, I really don't care about pre-season. I mean, even losing to Manchester United 4-0, normally there are expressions like it's a slap in the face, a kick in the goolies. It wasn't like that. It wasn't pleasant, don't get me wrong. It was a bit like someone with halitosis breathing a bit too close to you, but it's what it was just. It was just like someone, with bad breath, and you had to just inhale some of the bad breath. It doesn't. Then you go about your day. You turn around. You go outside. So the preseason, I want to see us get rhythm. I want to see us get more pace in the passing and develop the understanding. But yeah, the fitness is the main thing. Results don't mean a thing. And what Ricky was saying about it was funny about all the opposition fans already writing Darwin off after 47 minutes or 51 minutes, or it depends who you ask. But it's complete nonsense. It's complete gibberish, and
we'll get onto that now.
Well, yeah, sorry, but to jump ahead, but it's just like I don't know, like I can't wait for the real footy to come back so that people have more to actually talk about instead of inventing nuggets of nonsense.
Yeah, that's one polite way of saying it. Owen, in social media, we've obviously got on a social media platform, that one, YouTube and everything as well. So, off the back of what Mark said, it's a great point here, John. Do we need to start getting the main team ready for the City game? And obviously that ties into probably a question that I've got a bit later, but off the back of what Mark said there as well, would you like to see a bit more consistent team selection? And do you think that we'll probably get that off the back of the game tomorrow?
I think he was really strong tomorrow. So I do. I think he starts the majority of the first team. We'll get at least 60 minutes, I reckon, tomorrow. But I'm hoping to see a wee bit more at young right back. I don't even want. I can't remember his name, and I ain't going to try and pronounce his name. But I think he's absolutely.
Maybe, yeah.
Yes, that's him. I think he's a brilliant wee footballer.
Yeah. Well, any players that have stood out for you, John? As I said to the lads, any players that have piqued your interest, especially the young players that you said there?
It's just that right back as it's done. I think he's going to push Trent on. I think he's probably. Ramsey is an excellent player. I've seen him up close and personal. Ramsey is an excellent wee footballer. But physically, he's stronger than Ramsey. And I think he could actually push Trent more than what Ramsey could. So I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot more of him. And I hope it's tomorrow.
Yeah, spot on, mate. And he's another typical Jurgen Klopp, Pep Linders. He's chat and lads. He's not a right back by trade, is he? He's another converted. Is he a converted midfielder playing right back as well? So yeah, spot on there, Nigel. Thank you, mate. Yeah, so typical Jurgen Klopp. I can't wait. That's the beauty of having a great coach in it, Spider. In terms of obviously identifying Jurgen and obviously Pep Guardiola's of these worlds, they identify a player and probably see their weaknesses, but they can very much utilise, as the lads have already said, a couple of the young players in different areas. And that is a massive facet in terms to have, especially as a youngster, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you just mentioned two of the best at it in the game that recognise talent when they come into a club. But there's nobody better for me than Jurgen Klopp in the game. I wouldn't care if Pep was managing us right now. To me, it's still Jurgen Klopp is the best manager in the world for me, just because of where he came from, what he had to go through to do what he does. I'm the same as John. I think Mbappe has a fantastic pre-season. I know he kind of cushioned it down for what's his name, the guy for United that they bought last season. I'm trying to forget his name because he didn't do too much. Sancho, that's it. Yeah, he didn't do too much last season, so I forgot who he was. But yeah, so like besides that, he was outstanding going forward. You know, I seen a lot of what Trent does in him, and I seen that there's probably a lot more that he can do. You know, even compared to what Trent can do for us. You know, but Trent, if anybody, I don't know if the rest of you've noticed, lads, but Trent spent the majority of the second half of last season in the midfield. He was in Jordan Henderson's position for the majority. A few times he had to come back, but the majority of times he was on the right-hand side of that midfield, and he kept interchanging with whoever was running up on the outside of him. I don't know if that was like a teller for what's going forward. I know we've got Ramsey and I know we got Mabeo, but if Klopp is really showing up that right side and he's not showing up the midfield, as you know, we thought he'd buy an extra midfielder this season, but he said he's not going to buy unless somebody goes out. What's to say that he's not going to try Trent on that right hand side of the midfield and still come back as the covering, you know, right back? I know he'd say, why would you change the best right back in the world? But if you've got the quality there and you have to get a chance to play him and you get the chance to rotate between Hendo and Trent, a lot, you have to give Hendo a few games rest and stick Trent in there, then I don't see why not. We couldn't, you know. I'd give him the opportunity. He's always won for it. I think he's earned it if he wants a few games in the midfield. But yeah. Yeah,
100%, mate. Absolutely spot on. And it's obviously the beauty, it's kind of as Spider said there, of having players that can play. Obviously, we've mentioned Mwebu, completely butchered that, but a young lad played right back against Manchester United. Pre-season, as the lads already alluded to, probably don't. Well, it's only seemed to be the last couple of years people have actually cared about pre-season, but I just wanted to get everyone's insight really in terms of how the preparation has gone. But what's really impressed you? Have you noticed anything in terms of the pattern of play or systems wise or players playing in certain areas?
For me, it's just Fabio Carvalho. How versatile he looks already. We already knew that he was potentially going to fill 3 spots in the team. On the left side of the middle 3 and the front 3 as well. But he just looks like he's been part of the team for a couple of seasons already. And again, he's still very young, has loads of potential to even grow even much more. I don't expect him to be, thrown into, let's say Fulham, for example, or even the Manchester City game. But, just give his progression time, give him, the time that he does need. And then, the second half of the season, we're all praising Harvey Elliott and how well he looks already. I think Fabio Carvalho, for me, he looks the most exciting out of everyone. The only thing for me personally that is a bit concerning when I do look at preseason is injuries. Obviously, Ali is, hopefully going to be back in time, but Jota is the one for me. The reoccurring hamstring injury. Again, hamstrings are so dangerous. We all know with former players like Fernando Torres and Michael Owen, but again, hopefully it's going to be okay. And as well, we've got Bobby Firmino as well, fit and available. So I think maybe Nunez and Bobby rotating at the start of the season. But for me, it's pre-season. Look, everyone will get everyone's back. But look, fitness is the most important thing, and making sure everyone is fit and available for Fulham. You're on mute.
No, Jack, you're on mute, lad.
Sorry, today. I haven't gone 10 minutes today. Sorry, Jeff. If you know, go back 2 days until when you're in the zone or presenting anything, really, even if it's a presentation in school or work, whatever. But yeah, all my years of doing YouTube, I had an absolute nightmare to say. So apologies, everyone. I am looking at chat. But absolutely spot on there, Con. Couldn't have said it any better. That's what I did originally say if everyone's lip reading. Mark, we've got a lot of versatile players off the back of what the lads have said, and people can fill in spots. The most of the team can score as well. I think that's probably a big aspect as well, Mark. Great point in terms of we'll probably do a show before the season does start. Goals in midfield. As I've been speaking to the lads, especially this season, off the back of the last season, it was small margins, and it's very difficult when you are talking about 1 or 2 points over the last 3-4 seasons. Yes, you can identify the draws in which we've had, but as we said, it's great that we're in these positions to go to Champions League finals, FA Cup finals as well, League Cup finals, and we took it to the absolute maximum. It's a great point by Nigel and the lads as well before in terms of the fitness, and it will be interesting to see, but we'll probably speak about that in another show as well, in terms of Klopp identifying. I don't think himself, publicly, they'll never, they'll probably say we want to go far in every game and every tournament that we do, but I think in-house, they won't publicly say it, but I think they will solely will focus on the Premier League and the Champions League. I don't know how you feel, chat, as well, but great point there. How you doing, Gary? Thank you for tuning in. I think we'll still be quality if we could gel the team early doors, and will help out massively as well. It's going to be a cracking season. Absolutely spot on there. Big up, mate. Thank you very much for tuning in, mate. Appreciate it. And you're absolutely smashing it at the minute. And don't get me started on J-Lings. Yeah. You dodged a bullet there, West Ham, anyway. But, Nicky, we'll quickly touch on a couple of players, as a lot of you already have mentioned. I'll give you Elliott. What are you hoping for his role this season? Obviously, off the back of this game tomorrow, Jurgen Klopp went with him in the first couple of games before he got injured last year. For you or chat, do you foresee him being the one of the three on that right hand side of midfield and one of the first names on Jurgen Klopp's team sheet?
Yeah, I said to Luke that I think he starts the first game against Fulham. He kept Henderson out of the squad last season for the first couple of games before he got injured against Leeds. He offers something different in that midfield role alongside Thiago and Fabinho. Elliott likes to drive the ball forward, something Naby Keita's not very good at doing on that right-hand side. Elliott's always got an eye for a pass, and if it will also have a shot as well if he sees an opening. Obviously, he fell over in pre-season when he went clean through on goal, but I expect him to. It's a big season for him and Curtis Jones this season, who steps up the most to get that position in midfield. But I do think Elliott starts, and it's going to be interesting to see what he actually does this season, if he can stay fit, don't get another freak injury like he got. And he can go from there. But I expect him to play more centre midfield than out on the wings. I don't think he's got the pace to play on the wings, so it suits his game in midfield.
Yeah, 100% there. Nigel, would you add to that as well, mate? In terms, obviously, what are you hoping? And I'm hoping that Harvey does get a couple more goals as well, mate. And I've seen a lot of people mention that he's kind of technically behind in his development, obviously with the injuries. Do you think he'll get the right minutes?
But maybe so. I like Ricky's point where he said that he might play Elliott in the middle. What about possibly Elliott in just behind the front two, kind of in a Bobby Firmino type position, and being creative? You know, you wouldn't mind seeing that, because you've got Carvalho kind of to shadow Diaz or Mo, and we need somebody to shadow Bobby. So maybe Diaz or maybe Elliott might be an option there, and get him to be creative and kind of learn off Bobby, and just look for little passes. And you see the great ball he played for Henderson in the game against Palace. Yeah. A great little pullback, you know, put it on a plate. So I think this, you know, it's all about, it's what I said before. Let's go back to the things again, same things, minutes.
Yeah.
Try people in different positions.
Yeah, 100% there, mate. And I give Ricky and Nigel Harvey, and I'll give John and Owen Nunez. As I said from the title, minutes, and as we've already alluded to, the numpties. You can class me as a numpty anyway, some of the stuff I've said in the past. We've all been there, but Owen, it's a new system, new language, most importantly, and especially when you've got Scousers in your team, that's another language in itself. Yeah, I think we need translation for this episode when I'm speaking. But Owen, it's going to be very difficult for Nunez. He's coming into a very different system. And I think the one thing, I don't know how you felt, Owen, is obviously in chat. Obviously, we've had, obviously, Thiago, obviously, translating. And I think that's another great aspect of Thiago. He's a leader, not on the pitch, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. And obviously, acclimatizing into a new club. But what are you most excited about, obviously, Nunez? We spoke about, obviously, after the Porto game last year, mate. Not the Porto, the Benfica game. I think, mate, Nigel, did you go to that game as well, mate? Or no. But when it was on someone's post-match, and I come out after the ground, I was like, this fella's, he's got a lot of raw potential, and he absolutely put out some of our centre-halves on their backside, really. And I know people go, oh, it's only 90-odd minutes that he's seen in the ground and everything, but what I seen from Nunez was a raw potential. And what I didn't want to do is something that when Haaland's gone from Salzburg to Dortmund, you don't want to be put in a situation where you're like, oh, should have got him before he made that move. And I'm happy Liverpool have done that. But what are you most excited about Nunez? And obviously, what really stands out about his game that you think that will very much benefit Liverpool, especially this season? He's quite a predator as well in front of goal, isn't he?
Yeah, but we gotta be patient. You know what I mean? Like it's, you said the word. He's raw. Yes, he's as raw as my auntie serves the bacon. Unfortunately, she makes us all sick. But it's, so we need patience. All of us need patience. Even the impatient people, especially the impatient people, need a bit of patience because, his passing success rate of 58%. Last season for Benfica is very poor, to be honest. So he's going to give the ball away. His touch isn't quite there, but that's the negative. And you ask for the positives. There are so many of them. Today apparently is the anniversary of Didier Drogba signing for Chelsea. What a legend he was, and although unfortunately it's for Chelsea, but he was the only other striker I've seen play against us when he played against us for Marseille, who I thought after those matches where he tore Hippier and Carragher apart, I thought, wow, imagine if we signed him, he's going to be a hell of a player. I had exactly the same feeling when we played Benfica, and I haven't had that feeling for any other player who's played against us, just Drogba and Nunez, and that's it. So I'm really excited because he's, he's big, he's quick, he's powerful, he posted something about resilience on his social media apparently the other day. So he looks like he's got a great mentality. He seems like he's humble enough to want to learn and to work. And we're going to give him all the time in the world, aren't we? And I'd say, around about, 2024, 25 season, that's when he'll hit his peak. So we're going to, there's no pressure. Or start to hit his peak then. I think there's no pressure. He can just take his time, get used to the system. In terms of language and things, I mean, I don't know if you know, but I teach English sometimes to footballers, and I know what it's like on training grounds. I've sometimes, I've been to the training ground here at Paris Saint-Germain a number of times, and on the training ground, a lot of people speak Spanish, so they're going to speak Spanish. They're going to speak Portuguese in any club, in every club. So, it's I think language-wise, Scouse will take a little while to get used to. It's true, but we shouldn't have any particular problems, especially given our famous camaraderie between our players under Jurgen Klopp. So. Yeah, no worries. Be patient. Even when he gives the ball away stupidly, which he's bound to do. Yeah. I'm really excited overall.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, mate. And I think in it, John, he's bound to, as the lads have already alluded to, the chances we create within a game of football. Fair enough if he's playing in a low block team that's looking to counter attack. But with Liverpool, and that's one thing that I spoke to you, John, after the Champions League final. We heavily missed just someone to put that ball in the back of the net. Just someone to, obviously, Jota, certain games over the last 12 months, he does that well. He's just he's in the right place at the right time. Sometimes the best strikers in the world, you can't teach that. They're just born with it. And John, do you think Nunez will give Liverpool that edge going into this season's campaign? And obviously playing against an opposition in which RB Leipzig predominantly do play with quite a high line. They press up the pitch, and do you reckon we could see probably the best Nunez tomorrow, hopefully?
100%. Like you said, it's that Champions League final. Had we had Nunez laying, I reckon we would have won the Champions League final. We were just missing someone to put the ball in the back of the net. And I think he's Trent's dream. Just the amount of balls Trent's going to put on the edge on that head of his is unbelievable. Yeah. I think you're probably not going to see the best of him until maybe Christmas time.
Yeah.
I think that's when we'll start to see the kind of player we bought. But the guy's frightening. He's so young as well. So people compare him to Haaland. I don't think you compare him to Haaland.
Yeah, he's completely different, isn't he? Yeah.
They're totally different players, and plus, Haaland's made of glass. The amount of injuries Haaland got in Germany is unbelievable. In City fans seem to think he's going to come here and tear the league apart. It's a more physical and demanding league. So if anyone's going to flap, I see Haaland flapping.
Big shouts by John. We'd all love that.
Wow.
Today, Tarkowski's going to put him in the stands in Goodison, like, welcome to the Premier League, fella.
I don't think he's going to be able to cope with the physicality of the league.
Yeah. It's the thing in it, though, John, in lads as well in chat. As you said there, John, he's quite physical. I know he's had a lot of muscular injuries. He's a Scandinavian. He's a big Viking. He is a tall fella. I don't know what they've been feeding him. His mum or dad fed him. I could have done with that anyway. I've filled out a bit, but not that. But yeah, spot on there, John. But we'll get to everyone's comments before we go into, obviously, Luis Diaz. I'll ask Connor and obviously Spider as well. And chat, if there's any other players that you'd like us to talk about, we can do. But as Paul said there, Harvey Elliott's still learning. That's frightening. He's so good. 100% there, Paul. With Salah not given, going to the World Cup is another boost. 100% there, Mark. It's going to be interesting. I think we'll probably do another show this week or something in terms of analysing, not just for Liverpool, but for a lot of teams. I think all of us will be watching with bated breath, really, crossing our fingers and toes that none of our players do get injured. It's good that a couple of them aren't going, as you said there, Mark. Salah's not going. That's going to give him a big boost. But only time will tell. And you never know. Liverpool could be leading the Premier League and City 6 points, 5 points behind. and they suffer quite heavily because they've got a lot of internationals going to the World Cups, and with Liverpool as well. But it'll be interesting, very interesting to see. Mark, better Premier League supply Nunez, so should teams to pieces. Oh, can't wait. Mark, I've got quite a couple of Twitter tweets saved for this. Give it 6 months into the season, and everyone will be going back onto their accounts, deleting all of them. But we've got them. Every Liverpool fan's got them saved anyway, so it's not. Everyone's just wanting to be the next Lukaku or Timo Werner or Anthony Martial or someone that's come to a Premier League club. But Liverpool's strike rate with recruitment, as we've said already today, has been absolutely phenomenal. Ravi, Nunez, it'll be so raw, very much he could be sold on the market. Glenn, Nunez just needs time with this Liverpool team. The lad is top class. Spot on there, Glenn. And if you're new around here, everyone hit that subscribe button as well. Please do head over to all the lads' socials in the description as well, and subscribe and follow them as well. Massive supporters of my channel. I really do appreciate it, boys. Nunez will come good. He'll bang goals with the right supplier. Well, he's got Robbo and Trent, probably two of the best attacking fullbacks in Europe, and he's going to be getting chances, and hopefully he can take every single one. Evening, Jack. How you doing, Daz? What would your starting 11 be for tomorrow? Quick one there. Well, I'd just go strong, mate. We've already mentioned. But yeah, I'd go as strong as possible, as the lads have already alluded to. We need a bit more rhythm. So yeah, I'd probably go the main front three, main midfield as well, just to get those minutes under our belts as well. I'll go Van Dijk and Matip as well. But evening, Russ, as well. Arsenal making some good signings, mate. Well, I really do. I've got a feeling. Lads, have you got a feeling that Gabriel Jesus will thrive in Arsenal? I think he will.
Yeah, I think he'll do well there.
Yeah, so we're all in it. It's a great deal as well, and he's a proven winner, as we've seen in Manchester City. So, cheeky little sign for you there, Russ. Offers something that he's quite missed in recent seasons, but only I know it's pre-season, but his movement is elite. It's quite up there anyway. Muzet, how you doing, mate? Thank you very much for tuning in. Jack Daniels and co. Put your feet up, mate, anyway, and enjoy it, fella. But Spider, we'll quickly go through as well. I've given you and Connor probably one of the most hottest prospects in European football at the minute. Nunez.
Jesse Lingard. No, I'm only joking.
He's the best TikToker anyway, isn't he?
Yeah.
But Nunez, Spider. Is that my connection or Spider? Oh.
No.
Oh, yeah, no, it's my connection.
Okay.
Yeah, my hamster's in the background. Run faster. But Spider, Nunez, we spoke about, obviously, when we signed him, the Colombian Reds come out in force because they love...
Oh, yeah, we're talking about Diaz. Sorry. Diaz.
Yeah, Luis Diaz.
Sorry. No, you're right, man.
What are you hoping to see this season going forward?
Exactly what I've seen in pre-season. Dude is a workhorse. You know, he's... whatever Weetabix he's having, you know, give me some too, because he's rearing to go, he's ready to go, you know. There's not much more you can say about Luis Diaz. You want to see him doing, you know, we had Sadio Mane going through the centre this season. He's got a lot more to aim at with Nunez in the centre now this season. So you're probably going to see a lot more assists from him. Because Sadio Mane tends to create a lot of his own goals, even though he does do a lot of link-up play well. He does tend to create situations where, you know, he just pulls a goal between two players that you wouldn't normally see a player scoring a goal from. But my main thing that I did notice from pre-season that I didn't say earlier, really, to be honest with you, was is how Nunez runs at the offside trap. And what I have noticed is that what we need to do a little bit more is to not focus so much on just getting out to the wings. When you see him on that last defender, somebody from the midfield just play a ball around the outside to him, you know, just bypass Salah or bypass Diaz for a second. Every third or fourth ball, just go straight down the middle and have a look at him, because he's ready to run. Like, I saw him ready to go, and then he's kind of second guessing himself when he goes out to the wings. Where am I going now? And that's something that he has to learn along with playing with Salah and Diaz and whoever's going to be behind him in Thiago or Keita or you know, or Hendo or Harvey. But I would like to see a lot more creativity coming from our midfield to just to play to Nunez's strengths. Just a bit at the start of the season until he develops a bit more get him a few goals under his belt, and then maybe you'll see that we're developing an extra type of play that people aren't expecting from us, because there was a lot of long balls. I know we've got a target man now. And I know most of the stuff goes to the wings and in and back out again. But I'd like to see a lot more direct through balls to an obvious out and out striker. So, we have options there now to do it. I want to see it done. And it gives us an opportunity. If he can stay on the last minute, like I've seen him staying on the last minute, and let's call a spade a spade. He was playing with, he was training with Liverpool for about 2 days before he played against United. He's had, let's say, 40 strenuous minutes, if you want to call it that way, under his belt playing for us. So I'm not going to judge that lad at all until around Christmas time, when I'd say, okay, maybe he's this and that, maybe he can improve here, maybe he can improve there. But he's got 6 years with us now, dude. He's not going to probably do anything major until, as one of the lads says, 24-25 season. But yeah, from my point of view, Diaz, there's not much more you can say about that dude. He is just, he speaks for himself. He came in January, his first game, he was doing what he was doing. He's to do this trapping balls with Rabones. It's just reverse Rabones. You know what I mean? So you don't have to worry about him, man. He's going to be one of our outstanding stars. And I think just Salah would want to watch his Player of the Year trophy there, man, because I know he's going to score a lot of goals, but Nunez or Diaz could take it on merit. I nearly did what you did. Diaz will take it on merit alone, just for his work rate and what and whatnot for the team. But let's hope that they all have a battle for it. I'd love to see a nice team performance this season, and let's see who it goes.
Cheeky hat-trick at Man United. You got a great shirt on there, mate.
Yeah.
I've just seen it as well. That's brilliant. Where'd you get that?
It was on the Paul Machin.
Was it the Red Men lads?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Sorry, that's last. I have a cup as well, just in case people can't see it. I just drink my tea like this. And it's just for you, mate.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Spot on there, Spider. Obviously, Connor, Diaz did get quite a couple of goals in Portugal prior to us signing him, and there's obviously Spider's alluded to, he hit the ground running really, and that's what we're probably hoping for with Nunez. What are you hoping to see from Diaz going into this season and obviously through pre-season? Obviously, South American players historically over the years have been absolutely fantastic, and obviously we've had Luis Suarez as well on the pitch. Off the pitch, he was an absolute horrible person anyway. When Sims was on the field, performed to Suarez, obviously now with Nunez as well, and then Diaz from South Colombia as well now. What's probably the biggest aspect that you're looking forward to? Are you hoping that he can add more goals to his game? Because he's at the post twice, hasn't he, in pre-season? So it was like the typical Sadio Mane, cut in, right foot, and we're just hoping that he just grows in confidence, aren't we?
Yeah, no, it is. And, last season he came in and was unbelievable. There's no other word for Luis Diaz. I think, 4 goals and 5 assists, I think, or somewhere around there for when he come in. I think, again, he offers you, there's 2 ways to look at it with Luis Diaz, I think. You saw it a little bit against Manchester United where he was trying to run in behind and trying to break that right hand side of Man United's defense, and that's a good early sign. Maybe if we was to play like a Bobby in the middle and then had Salah and Diaz. Sorry, see, it's too early for Sadio Mane to leave. But again, he offers you width as well. I think that will help Darwin Nunez a little bit, because if you look at Nunez's stats last season, he drifted a lot to the left-hand side of attack, but he was given the freedom to do that with Benfica. Now with Liverpool, of course, you've got Mo Salah on the right and Luis Diaz on the left, and that is where I think it's going to be the most interesting how Jurgen Klopp handles that. I think hopefully we might see that tomorrow against Leipzig. Hopefully we'll see Diaz and Nunez, because I think them two haven't played together yet in pre-season as of yet. So I'm going to be intrigued to see how that handles. But again, Luis Diaz for me, I think last season, what was it, 14 goals he left Porto on. Again, if it's anywhere near 10, 15 goals just from that for Liverpool, again, you'll be amazing for us. But again, he was I can't even think of a bad game he had when he come into the club. So yeah, I think again he'll be even better. Of course, full preseason as well. And the Klopp and Nunez, I think, look, I think you will have to give him time, but I think there's also that there's no rush, there's no panic. We've got the likes of Bobby Firmino, Jota to come back as well. Just get yourself.
It'd be probably be very different, Conor, and not as well in chat. If he was coming into like a system where obviously we didn't have Salah and we didn't have obviously other players around.
Well, we mentioned
help him the most.
We mentioned Erling Haaland. Manchester City are adamant that he's going to hit the ground running. There's nothing saying that he will hit the ground running for Man City. And that's the thing. Liverpool will give him the opportunity. And it's like with Diaz, we didn't expect Diaz to just, fly straight away, but he did. And Klopp was happy with that. And again, if Nunez can, get match fitness, understand the squads, understand how we play, then, I think Klopp would be more than happy to start him at the start of the season. But again, just give him time as well. And I think as well, there could still be the possibility of a system change as well. With this Austrian camp coming in, this is now where we normally see what Klopp's going to plan for the season. So I think both Nunez and Diaz, I can't wait to see what them two do this season.
And just quickly on Diaz, if I can add, it's something that people don't really talk about is his pass completion was in the 97th percentile, so the top 3% across Europe for all attacking players last season. He keeps the ball really, really well. He makes great decisions as well as, being able to dribble around everyone. I think, it's another facet of his game, along with what Connor's just said. It's just brilliant, isn't it?
Absolutely spot on. My mum's just come in. It'll be good.
Hello, you mum.
Is it on air? Like an on air? I could do with that. Do you want people shout you when you're on like live or you're streaming something or something? Yeah, no, go away. You want to shout at
Be nice to your mum.
Yeah, get out. But spot on there, boys. Anyway, but Ricky, we'll quickly rattle through the last question. Anyway, I'll ask all these lads as well in chat. Obviously, what aspect of play would you like Liverpool to see improve over pre-season? Obviously, coming into this season, most importantly. But just quickly get all to your comments. Very excited to watch Carvalho this season for the Reds. That's from Glenn. It reminds me of a young Coutinho. 100% there, mate, as the lads already alluded to. But great comment there, Glenn, as always. The floodgates will open when he scores. Fingers crossed. Mark, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, go ahead, La. I thought we spent too much time on PS anyway, on the PlayStation. Get to Gary. The movements of the front three will be more direct from the different directions. Nunez can play more, move very quickly and sudden with the strike of the ball. Obviously, pinpointing what Spider did allude to, and a lot of the lads as well, in terms of when you've got Trent or Thiago. I'm excited probably to see the balls over the top. When we had Fernando Torres, he was electric over the first 15, 20 yards, and Gerrard and Alonso and players in the squad were just hitting the ball over the top. It's probably difficult when you are playing against a low block, but there is teams within the Premier League that will come at you, and it'd be interesting to see. Obviously, Leipzig, as I said at the top of the show, quite pressing-wise, to allow you a lot of time on the ball as well, and they predominantly do play with a free back with high press anyway, so 100% there, Gary, as well. Helen, thank you very much for tuning in. Look after yourself, and as always, thank you for your support as well. Trent and Robbo will be love playing with Nunez, and get to Mark's final comments here. We have all the way to great counter attacks, and this has to just add to the speed and how we can do it. 100% there, Mark. But Ricky, probably one of the final questions of today's show as well. Appreciate you all taking the time out, boys. But aspect of play, potentially going into this new season and over tomorrow as well. Pattern to play. What are you wanting to see Liverpool do a bit more going into this year?
Put the ball in the back of the net when we need to.
All right, Owen.
But I just a bit of consistency with certain players. I mean, we've seen it with the likes of Fabinho when they come out the team. Thiago when he don't play. I don't think Thiago actually lost one game in a Liverpool shirt. It's stuff like that. When players come in for players that are injured, we need to stick with the same consistency that we've got with the first 11. Obviously, Ox is going to take that number 10 shirt just for you, Jack.
Don't get me started.
But I mean, I think he's leaving anyway, Ox. I think someone's bid 8 million for him.
Yeah, I'm dropping him off as well.
Yeah, you've got to take the 8 million from him, really.
I'm taking a share of that contract as TikTok dancers and everything.
I said to someone, in the 40-degree heat yesterday, I would have carried him somewhere just to get him out. But yeah,
I love Ox, but like I've been saying the same. I sound like a boring person, just repeating the same thing every season. He'll be good if he can stay fit, and we've said that with Naby for the last couple of seasons. And it's like he's got a lot to offer Liverpool, but we haven't seen it at a consistent level.
Naby offered a lot more, didn't he?
Yeah, so much more.
Yeah.
Ox the other day, he went through 1-on-1, had a shot, and he got injured. I mean, no one was near him. Can't afford to have someone like that in the squad. It's bad enough when Naby Keita kicks the grass and gets injured, but I mean, it's just it's exciting this season. I can't wait to actually get the league season started. There's a lot of people saying that Nunez don't start the first game against Fulham, which is a load of crap. You don't spend £65 million on someone not banging straight into the team. With Jota out potentially long term, Nunez has got to come to start. But yeah, no, I'm excited.
Yeah, spot on there, Nigel. I think the one thing, as I spoke to you and Owen on the Kop on over last year as well, when we spoke about the games in which we didn't seem to shoot. I know it's shoot from outside the box a bit more. Obviously, the Tottenham game where we got that deflection, I think it was Diaz cut in and literally would still be playing tonight by now and still wouldn't have scored if Tottenham's back five anyway. But is that something similar that you'd like to see? Just as you're saying, obviously the qualities in which Carvalho will offer as well.
I'd like to see us continuing the way we play, but I'd like to see one thing, especially if we have Nunez up front. I'd like to see Nunez dropping off the front, somebody playing the ball into him kind of holding the ball up, laying it off, and then the ball trying to go around the back, rather than just going straight down the wing every time. Because people seem to have kind of planned that for us. So if we could lay a ball off and use Nunez just as a layoff man, and then maybe get around the back after that, but just a little bit more intuitive sometimes. I don't know if any of you remember 1994 opening day, Crystal Palace. Do you remember the game? Do you remember our set piece routine?
I was -6. Oh no, I was -12. Yeah.
Short corner, front post. John Barnes flick it back. Ian Rush a header at the back post. We scored lots of goals like that. Yeah. The same routine. I'd love to see us doing it again. Bobby Firmino is as good as anybody in the air at the moment. Stick Bobby on the front post. Get somebody coming around the back in the header at the back post. Just another option. I want to see us doing more set piece options.
Yeah,
simple 100%. As that.
100%, mate. Off the back of what Nigel said there, Owen, something similar, or?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, always more goals from set pieces from anywhere. I'm not quite sure if Nunez has got the touch. I think Bobby Firmino's better at dropping deep because I don't think Nunez has got the close control because he'll be to drop deep and lay it off, as Nigel said. But I don't know. Hopefully he can. I don't know. We don't know yet. But what I want to see is pace in the play, not in terms of running, but the actual speed of the ball between our players. Just go up and up and up. You know, just see what levels these guys can reach because they're all absolutely fantastically talented technically. And you know, if you think about how zippy Fabio Carvalho's looked, you know, his mentally and on the ball. I still have hopes for Naby Keita as someone who can. Yeah, Ricky's shaking his head. I can see that, but that's okay.
It's another show.
That's okay. We can have plenty of opinions because I think having a number 9 who's going to be like more advanced to play the Naby Keita through ball. I think it could play into his hands, and I'm expecting good things or hoping for good things. I mean, not really expecting, but hoping for that. And there's loads of it. But just generally what I'd like to see this season is just, things gelling, Harvey Elliott, the new signings, everybody gelling together and just being able to play this zippy attacking, it's not heavy metal football. It's like, I don't know. It's Eddie Van Halen's guitar solo,
Mozart
maybe
a bit
a
more,
little bit.
like, bit more.
Well, yeah, it could be Paganini. Yes, he sold his soul to the devil centuries before Robert Johnson did on that Crossroads. Paganini on the violin. That's what I'm looking for.
Absolutely spot on there. And John, quickly touch on, obviously, I think the concentration levels in certain games last season, which is mad, but obviously the draws in which we did have, I don't know how you felt, John. In certain games, it's mad to say, obviously, but certain games, it's like almost we lost belief in the draws or we'd lost silly things, but that's going to happen over 38 game calendar season. It does happen, and that's football anyway. But John, as the lads have already alluded to, what are you hoping to see a bit more of going into this season?
I went for a change of formation. I think we're too predictable sometimes with 4-3-3. Teams know how to play against us. I would like to see the 4-2-3-1 a lot more often. I think actually have formation was suited a lot better with Nunez up top.
Yeah.
So what I would have Nunez. You have Nunez, Alex just paint Nunez, and then Salah and Luis Diaz either side. I think that formation works excellent for us.
Yeah. 100%, mate. That's obviously we mentioned the Spurs, and we under a great point there, mate. Obviously, off the back of what Mark said there, go back to the diamond formation, support play we used to use as well. Remember that diamond under that time when we had was it Rodgers? We had Suarez, Sterling, and like SAS. Like that was those were the days. Remember that anyway. And then Coutinho whipping the balls over the tops of Sturridge. Oh, those were the days. How far we've come. And we've come a very long way. But Spider, we'll quickly rattle off anyway. But I'll ask you, obviously, in terms of, do you think it'll help Liverpool playing RB Leipzig? Obviously, as we've already mentioned, going into a game of the magnitude of Manchester City, it's still a cup competition, probably one of the first on offer in England as well. Do you think the opposition will help in terms of, obviously, the playing against Manchester City? They will give us a good run out, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, they're a few weeks ahead of us in their preparation, and that's what Liverpool.
Just a quick one on the results. They beat Southampton 3-1. I know that's not hard anyway. Rangers beat them, obviously in the second leg in the semi-final of the Europa League anyway. So they did get knocked out by Rangers. But John, you'll be happy, won't you, John? You've done the job over the Rangers. But yeah, sorry, Spider.
Yeah, no, it's just that like one thing I've noticed about City is their preparation only starts tonight. Is it?
Is it
at
tonight,
1:30 in the morning? That they haven't even kicked the football yet. And I mean, people are judging Nunez, where City are only going to play 2 pre-season games and then play us in the Charity Shield. I mean, are they only just classing us as a pre-season game in that Charity Shield? I get it's a Charity Shield, but I mean, there's always some sort of bragging rights between 2 clubs, even if it's not a major trophy. But still, you know, for me, like, just it's even on the formation there, as the lads were alluding to. I think I when I was watching the way Klopp has kind of put the players out, I've noticed them in slightly different positions to where you normally see the 4-3-3, and I think he's kind of testing out like little areas where you could see the 4-2-3-1, or you could see, you know, the more secretive, as I would say, end up in the diamond with the 4-2-1-2-1, as they call it, which is an alternate of that, and I think that Carvalho is the type of player that could be for Liverpool what Dele Alli was meant to be for Spurs, if you get me. So, you know, that guy that can drift anywhere across the edge of the box and play in any of these positions. And I just think that, you know, we've gotten him young. If Dele Alli hadn't, you know, made the wrong choice and stuck his nose up in the air because Gerrard couldn't come and meet him, you know, some kid that's coming up from lower league standard up, you know.
Too busy playing Fortnite in his father.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what was he expecting at that time, that he was going to come because he was some sort of super kid in some small club, that he was going to come all the way down. Well, he's going to do that for every kid. I never understood that, and I just think, look, he bit off more than he can chew by the man and that kind of stuff. And look where he's ended up now at Everton, you know. So
God's help
as a Liverpool fan. I don't get it. And so yeah, look, I think what I've been looking at is where Harvey Ellis has been playing, where Diaz has been playing, and where Carvalho has been playing in this preseason more than anything else. I've watched where the right backs besides Trent and Robbo have been playing, just to see if he is trying these other little formations and stuff. And I have noticed that Diaz has been drifting a lot more into the centre and drifting across the field out to the right. So is Carvalho going back and forth. And I saw Elliott doing a little bit of it as well. So there could be that he's testing, he's lining them up for 4-3-3, but he's allowing them to play in that central midfield as a 5-man interchanging, into a forward running diamond, back into a defensive 5-man unit in the midfield as well. So I'll say it's only, look, we have to wait and see what happens. I'm looking forward to this season. I don't know where anybody's worried about Nunez, because he'll bang in. I take my hat off and say he'll score more than 20 goals this season. He should, with the standard, with the supply that he's going to have from these lads. It all comes down to Salah himself. He's so close to records, and he really is. He's 86 games shy or something of other lads that were around him, and he's only got to score 11 goals in those 86 to beat records. So and he'll beat them. So he has nothing to worry about. There is no more pressure on Salah. He's after extending. We've got everybody here now that we wanted here, which is our Carvalho's. Harvey Elliott's back fit, looking sharp. I want to see Fabinho, having more help in that midfield now. And I think that's where he can alternate a bit with Naby Keita a bit. I know Thiago's going to be coming in there, but I think now you're going to see more of Carvalho alternating with Thiago maybe a bit more. And Harvey alternating with Hendo on the other side, maybe with Keita floating around all those positions that he can do, because he's defensive minded. He's also, he's a box to box as well. So when he wants to be, so he's a very fluid player. So look, that's for me. I do, and I just want to see it locked on more. I want to see more help to that midfield, more creativity, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, spot on there, mate. Glenn. Only if it was a player. It's the magical question, Glenn. If we knew, it put our minds to rest anyway. But it'd be very naive to say Liverpool are finished. If a player is on the market, becomes available on the market, and same with Diaz, the fact that Spurs were inquiring, Liverpool jumped the gun, and obviously speaking to Sadio Mane at that time as well, we knew Sadio was going, so we jumped the gun. It was meant to be a signing for this season, Diaz, but we got him in January and he had the desired impact as well. But quickly shoot off as well. Obviously, Ricky from the 1892 Reds podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in, mate, as well. But we'll wrap up now anyway. But Connor, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Just shout out your channel, your social links as well, and I appreciate you taking the time out to come on, mate.
Thanks for having us on. The Kop Council over on YouTube doing a show tomorrow, of course, on the Leipzig game, and Friday as well. We're going to be doing a Premier League show as well, talking about everyone, and probably taking the mick out of Manchester United mainly. But we always do that anyway. But thanks for having us on.
You're very welcome, mate. As always a pleasure. Owen from the Kop on. Just shout out your socials, mate, and once again, thank you for coming on, mate.
Well, thanks again for the invite. You could see we've got some YouTube videos. We're not really very established on YouTube, but Kop on is normally an audio podcast. It goes out. I mean, I counted about this time last year that we got listeners from over 30 different countries around the world. Absolutely great fun to have all those listeners. So if you're out and about, doing the shopping, walking the dog, walking the cat, walking the turtle, walking your auntie, then have a listen to Kop on in one ear, and that would be great. So you can just find us on Twitter at Kop on Podcast. And thanks again, Jack, and everyone on the panel, and all of the people in the chat and everyone watching. Thanks to all of you.
Always a pleasure, mate. Thank you for taking the time out. Spider, LFC, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Appreciate it. Just shout out your socials, mate, and obviously what you've got planned coming up.
Yeah, as per usual, we've got Spider LFC on YouTube, and we've also got the Kitmen, as you see myself and Kev there in some of the thumbnails. We've also got the gaming channel, which is Irish Spider Guy on Twitch. This you'll see a lot of that stuff over the next couple of nights, playing a lot of games there. And also this weekend, I'm going live with the Hush Band on the Twitch channel, playing to about 8,000 to 10,000 people at a festival. So that should be pretty cool to watch. So be sure to pop over and say hello there.
Yeah, and your album as well. Shout out your album as well.
Oh yeah, we got a new song. The album's not ready yet, but
is it
there's a new single out? Yeah, it's "Me Against the World" by the Hush. So you can check that out in all places. Basically, it's out everywhere.
There we go, mate. I haven't got a voice. I've got a voice probably like the devil, so I won't be a good singer. But Nigel, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Appreciate you taking the time out. Do you want to just shout out your socials, mate? And obviously,
just at Irish Red 11, really. That's all it is, really. Nice to be involved with something that looks like the Brady Bunch here. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for taking the time out, mate. I really do appreciate it. And obviously, John as well. Hopefully you're there, John. Thank you for coming on, mate. Just shout out your social, mate.
Thanks for having us on, Jack. Really appreciate it. It's just John Moore on Twitter.
So, so John Moore as well. And obviously, just Ricky was on. I know he's probably doing a show now. So, where's Ricky? The 1892 Reds podcast as well. So, please do head over and support the lads as well on all their socials. But Reds, what an exciting season. And gents, thank you very much for tuning in. Gents and ladies as well at home. Look after yourselves, as I said. And most importantly, thank you for all the continued support, as always. And what an exciting season. Hopefully the Reds will absolutely batter RB Leipzig tomorrow. Go at the boys.